For the latest Alien and Predator news updates, visit hybridnetworkyt.com. Hey everyone, Nick here with another Alien video. This is a topic that I've kind of wanted to address for quite some time after the, I guess you could say, fallout of Alien Covenant and kind of where I think the franchise is at this point, and I guess the tone of the fan base and everything and what people are kind of talking about when in regards to Alien actually, because I have noticed that it isn't quite as popular really as it once was before Covenant was released, because I think, you know, it was at an all-time kind of high, the hype levels and everything, and people really coming back to the franchise and getting more acquainted with it again. But now we're kind of at this crossroads where people have seen Covenant, they kind of know the direction, okay, where these prequel films are going and how they're kind of going into the back of Alien, and also how these prequel films now affect the other 4 films that we already got in the past. For instance, David now being the creators of the xenomorphs and not the engineers, and kind of not really knowing much more about the engineers, and having the black goo or the accelerant being like this pathogen that was responsible for the xenomorphs, and etc, etc. A lot of stuff like that, just smaller minor things. And now we're kind of at this point where it's like, do people really want these prequel films to continue, like with the next one and then maybe even more than that after that? We don't really know. Or is it better at this point to just say, just cut our losses and just soft reboot the Alien franchise, where you would kind of pull like a Jurassic World, I guess you could say, where it's not really a reboot per se, but it kind of gives the franchise a fresh start while also being a sequel or set in that world, in the events of that world. Like, say for instance, if they were to do a movie that was set in between Aliens 2 and 3, where it was an all new cast of characters, a completely different sort of story, that was a sequel. It was like events that we never saw before, but it was kind of like taking the franchise in a new direction, because I'm not sure if people are really on board with Ridley Scott's vision anymore. There was rumors really that David was going to end up being the space jockey that we actually see in the original Alien film, which I think would be pretty awful and probably one of the worst things, honestly, they could do. But I mean, he's already done something kind of questionable with David being the creator of the xenomorph and things like that. But I mean, it's just like, Covenant, we know, didn't do great at the box office. I mean, it did fine. It's made its money. It's almost actually made, I think, close to 250 million now. It cost about 100 to make, and the marketing was probably pretty sizable. So I mean, it's broken even, I guess you could say. It's done okay, but it's not done great, and it certainly hasn't done great enough for Fox to say, okay, people definitely want more of these, let's get going on the next movie right away. There's been rumblings that, you know, Awakening is in kind of like a development hell. They don't know what to do next with the story, and you can tell definitely in between the time it took to get Prometheus to Covenant, like 5 years, the story changed so many times. Do people really want to continue seeing these Ridley Scott prequel films? I mean, there was an outcry after Covenant was released, and we heard that Neil Blomkamp's film was shut down. There was an outcry of people saying, oh, I really wanted to see what he would have done with it, like his proposed Alien 3 redo of Alien 3, like a different version or like a different story that actually would have continued after Aliens. And you see all these people that are liking his Oat Studios films and kind of saying like, wow, I really wish we had gotten his Alien film. Like, at least just kind of seeing Alien through somebody else's eyes, because right now it's basically Ridley Scott is the gatekeeper. Everything goes under him. He has pretty much full control over the franchise as far as we know at this point, and he's not even letting anyone make spin-offs or sequels or anything, like not even a one-shot movie. Like, if someone, director that Fox approached, that they just were like, hey, can you make this kind of one-shot Alien movie, sort of like what Star Wars is doing now, I guess, with the anthologies, but if it was like something like that scenario, I guarantee that Ridley would probably step in and be like, no, let's just keep the track focused on what I'm doing with my prequel films. And it's kind of weird that they're in that position, because Alien is this great IP that just really isn't being mined properly and being treated with proper care, and there's just so much potential for it that I think is being really held back by these prequel films, and Ridley being in there saying like no to everybody, because there was the rumor that Ridley was basically the one that actually shut down Neil Blomkamp's movie. Take that for what you will, we don't really know. It certainly sounds that way whenever Blomkamp talks about it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Alien needs a new set of eyes behind it, a new director, a new fresh take on it that could soft reboot, not like actually just start from scratch, like continue on in the universe, but just do something different than these prequel films? Like, let's put that on hold and kind of do something else within that universe. Or are you content with what we're getting with, you know, the engineer story and the origin of the xenomorphs and everything that Ridley Scott is doing? Drop all your thoughts down in the comment section below. I've been very curious about this for a couple months now, obviously, since the movie came out, and kind of wanting to hear what people thought about this and just the general consensus that people have. As always, thank you for watching. My name is Nick, and for more on the Alien and Predator universe, subscribe to Hyper Network.